So Gokanaru was at the time a small creator that had this viral hit, The Death of H3H3 Productions. And it's an hour and a half ball buster of me. He busts my balls for an hour and a half. And he basically says that I'm a hypocrite, or he said his main thesis is that I can't take criticism and that I'm a hypocrite, I think, or, such and such. People love this video. It is beloved by many, really. And it racked up like 1 million views, I think, which is incredible considering the size of his channel, right? Like, I think before it came out, he probably had 10,000 subs. I don't know. I may be speaking at turn. I know his channel was small, though. And now he has, like, 140,000 subscribers, and this video put him on the spot, let's say. So we never responded to this video. People wonder why we never responded to it. Truthfully, the reason is that, or at least directly, is that, at the time it came out, especially, and well, even today, there are a lot of videos criticizing me on YouTube, and at a certain point, you really just can't even fathom responding to everything. You kind of just have to put on your blinders to an extent so that you can keep living your life and not just crumble. I mean, frankly, it is difficult to have so many videos critiquing you online, but that's fine. Obviously, I've muscled through it. Obviously, there's a lot to criticize here, so I'm not saying that they shouldn't be made. But then what happened ultimately was a few months ago, the video was removed by YouTube they updated their policy to include a clause that says creator on creator simulated violence. And at the end of in his thumbnail, he had him with a gun to the back of my head. And at the end of his video, he has a fairly, I would say, graphic assassination scene. His video ends with him assassinating me and burying me and then spitting on my body. So it's definitely like a very unsettling, creepy assassination scene. And obviously that, to me, people speculate why it was removed. To me, when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is obviously why it was removed. Mm-hmm. And then there's further conspiracies that I was the one responsible for getting the video removed. Conspiracies that were put forth by none other than your beloved Keemstar, who said, it started with this. He says, starts with saying most videos criticizing you when you were 100% messing up years ago have been removed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you have a meeting with Susan? Well, so he says most. I mean, it was literally just one. Mm-hmm. So leave it to Keemstar, of course. This is what he does, right? But this isn't a video about Keemstar. Here he posts a picture of us and Susan. So this is the evidence.
Garbage.
Garbage. So we met with Susan. That's true. And apparently also, just to reveal everything.
If you go to...
Here's Gokanaru's video. When he made a video about his video was removed for harassment, and this is also circumstantial evidence, which is damning.
The episode of the podcast where he's Gus Johnson on. In that podcast episode, when he clicks the video tab, you can see that my username is in his history. As in, he typed my username in there, and he knows how to type it, unlike 99% of the people who are only vaguely aware of me. What's even...
So the fact that somebody spelled it right is evidence that...
Funnier is that podcast was on April 10th, and Susan Wachkiki released her letter to creators on April 30th. By doing a little bit of research with help from Bedhead Bernie, we were able to figure out that Susan visited H3 on April 18th, 2019.
Yes, the evidence is definitely... I see where he would draw the conclusion. But I will say that, no, I'm not responsible for the video being taken down. I mean, if you look at the circumstance, it was up for a year. The video had settled. Ultimately, why would I have it removed after it was all settled and obviously renew this whole conspiracy about, like, censorship? I mean, doesn't make much sense to me. But the circumstantial evidence is clearly damning. But I will say that no, I didn't have anything to do with it. And obviously, somebody typed it in on this laptop. I agree with that. I don't know who it was. I mean, a lot of people use this laptop, so it may have been me. I don't know, but I didn't tell her to remove your video. I can tell you that for sure. I remember the content of our conversation. The thing is, if you go to the blog post, he kind of makes it sound like we just talked about creator harassment, but she met with a ton of creators and she talked about, here's this blog post, living up to our responsibility, support creator and artist success, and improving communications engagement. I remember the whole content of our conversation was about me bitching at her that they need to do more to help edgy channels, as they call them. Because all of my friends with normal channels, their CPM rebounded. And my rep at YouTube is always like, oh, everyone's CPMs are fine, and they're making more money than they ever did. And I'm like, well, I know that my CPM is worse than it's ever been. Because they added these...
CPM is the ad revenue. I don't know if everyone
follows the ad
follows
rate, yeah.
the terms.
Like price per 1,000 views or whatever, how much you get paid. And because they added all these new like systems to protect brands from going on edgy channels, and I'm like, my argument to her is like, why is it that if you go on Comedy Central or MTV or at that back in the day, but these are like South Park, like these are the shows that advertisers want to be on. Mm-hmm. So why is it that you guys can't figure out how to sell ads to content like mine and a lot of other people's that make content similar to mine?
Right.
Why is it you can't figure that out? That seems to me like a huge missed opportunity for both of us. So that was what I bitched to her about the entire time. And actually, well, at any rate, so that's what I was talking to her about. So anyway, people seem to think that I have Susan, you guys have to understand, is one of the richest, most powerful women on the planet. I love that you guys think I have her under my thumb, but unfortunately, that's the only time I've spoken to her, and we did not discuss Gokanaru. Although I will give it up that the evidence is strong there, circumstantially. Yada, yada, yada. But ultimately, you guys will see when I get to that end scene, it is pretty graphic. And Gokanaru even says in one of his videos that he thinks that scene crossed the line. And if he really wanted the video back up, I just don't understand why he wouldn't just cut that part out.
Right.
Like, people re-upload the video, and then they're like, censorship is being taken down. But if you look on YouTube, that anyone who cut out that end scene, the video is still up. And you know, that's YouTube's rule, okay?